In part 4, I want to introduce you to performance feedback and some tips for sharing performance feedback with employees. The goal of performance feedback is to help people improve their performance. More specifically, this feedback is job-related information about how someone is currently performing their job and how they might improve in the future. In order for performance feedback to work, managers first have to make sure that performance standards are clear and communicated to every single person. We can't fault someone for not doing their job if no one told them how to do their job. After a period of time, the manager then samples employees' behavior. They don't follow people around all day, 24/7. They take a sample of their behavior and measure that sample. The idea is to measure typical performance as opposed to maximum performance in most situations. Based on these samples of behavior, managers then come up with individualized development plans for each one of their employees. The feedback you receive on your essays and other homework, for example, is provided to help you improve and get a better grade the next time you write an essay. Let's cover some of the strategies that IO psychologists have identified as essential to an effective feedback system. First, make sure that you share the rating forms, the measurement tools, in advance. Like your professors, share the grading rubrics before you turn in the assignments. Make sure you train managers and other raters to use the system, and make sure their identities are kept anonymous. Many of you are probably familiar with the praise, criticism, praise sandwich, where you share good news, and then bad news, and then good news again. Make sure you encourage people at all levels of the organization to participate not only in the management system, but in the appraisal process. When you meet with employees, you want them to ask questions. You want them to be engaged. You want them to be curious about how the system works and what they can do to improve. Focus on behaviors, not on personalities, not on intelligence. Focus on the things that you can see with your own eyes, behaviors, or the lack thereof. Obviously, you want to avoid destructive criticism. You don't want to bring people down and make them feel worse. Instead, you want to find ways to lift people up, make them feel good about themselves, give them a reason to keep trying, give them a reason to move forward. One of my favorite strategies is to start the performance appraisal meeting by asking employees to rate their own performance. They might identify the very weaknesses that their supervisors and colleagues identify, but they don't get their feelings hurt. Make sure that you listen to what employees ask, say, feel, experience. The entire performance measurement process can make some people anxious, apprehensive. Do your best to mitigate those concerns and help people understand the process. You might also want to talk about the employee's goals in the meeting, and then after the meeting, follow up and check in with them. How are they doing? What resources do they need? What challenges are they facing? How could you help? And finally, make sure that rewards are contingent upon performance. In other words, people only earn the rewards when they do in fact improve, when their performance ratings increase. In most organizations, we don't have the luxury of rewarding effort. We also need to see results. Now let's learn how to structure performance feedback. Here are the 3 questions you need to answer. 1, what is the specific behavior that you want to change? 2, how has this behavior impacted the individual's performance, their colleagues, the organization, or other stakeholders? Number 3, what specific behavior should this individual start using? Here's an example of what we might say to an employee who is consistently late for team meetings. When you are late for meetings, it hurts our team because it wastes our time and we're not able to get through all of our agenda items. I would like you to find some way of planning your schedule that lets you get to these meetings on time. That way we can be more productive at the meetings and we can all keep to our tight schedules. Now the employee knows how their behavior is impacting other people. As you can see, not only are we explaining why specific behaviors are a problem, now we've provided the employee with an out, an option for them to redeem themselves, the preferred behavior. If they adopt our recommendation, great. If not, they may need additional training, corrective action, or even termination. Delivering performance feedback is one of those things that you can start applying now, today, at your job, in school, even with your friends and family members. When you give people feedback, try using this 3-step process: behavior that needs to be corrected, the consequence of that behavior, and what you'd like the person to do in the future.